Have you ever wondered who the richest person in all of history might be? It's a question that might lead your thoughts to the tech moguls of the 21st century or the oil barons of the 20th. But the answer, in fact, lies much further in the past, in a time and place far removed from the gleaming skyscrapers and stock exchanges that symbolize wealth today. Just imagine, for a moment, the sun rising over the vast landscapes of West Africa in the 13th century. In the heart of this sun-drenched land, a power was rising, a kingdom of gold and salt, Mali. It was here that the story of the richest man in history begins. Born into a royal lineage around the year 1280, Mansa Musa's early life was colored by the rich tapestry of Malian culture. His given name, Musa, meant Moses in Arabic, hinting at the prominent role the Islamic faith would play in his life. As a prince, Mansa Musa was in line for the throne, yet he was far from the opulence that would later define him. The Kingdom of Mali was wealthy, certainly, with its abundant gold mines and bustling trade routes, but it had not yet reached the pinnacle of its power. That would come later, with Mansa Musa at the helm. In these early years, Mansa Musa was like any other prince. He was schooled in the arts of war and governance, prepared to rule if the need arose. Yet there was something that set him apart. Perhaps it was an unusual ambition, a spark of foresight, or simply the hand of fate. Whatever it was this that would eventually lead him to become the richest man in history. So, as we delve into the life of this extraordinary individual, we begin not with the immense wealth that would later come, but with a young prince in the Kingdom of Mali. The journey of the richest man in history begins as a humble prince in the Kingdom of Mali. From a prince, our protagonist rises to a king. But how? Let's journey back to the early 14th century, to the heart of West Africa, to the Kingdom of Mali. Mansa Musa ascended to the throne through unforeseen circumstances. His predecessor, Abu Bakr II, had a burning desire to explore the Atlantic Ocean. He set sail with a fleet of 2,000 ships, never to be seen again. This left the throne vacant, and Mansa Musa, the deputy at the time, stepped up to the plate. But the story of Mansa Musa is not merely about a prince becoming a king. No, it's about a king who transformed a kingdom into an empire of unimaginable wealth. Mali, under Mansa Musa's rule, was a land of abundance, particularly of one precious metal, gold. Gold was abundant in Mali. It was said that in this kingdom, even the most humble of objects were made of gold. The wealth wasn't hoarded, though. Mansa Musa understood the power of trade. He fostered prosperous trade routes, connecting Mali to both the eastern and western worlds. Gold was traded for salt, cloth, and other goods, leading to a flourishing economy. But the wealth of Mali wasn't just in its gold. It was in its people, its culture, and the stability brought about by Mansa Musa's rule. He was a devout Muslim and believed in the power of education, establishing schools and promoting the arts, further enriching the kingdom. The world began to take notice. Travelers from far and wide were drawn to Mali, eager to witness the richness and prosperity they had heard tales of. Mansa Musa's wealth was so immense that it's hard to put a number on it. Some economists believe his fortune would be worth over $400 billion in today's money. Mansa Musa's rise to power was not just about wealth accumulation. It was about wise leadership, strategic trade, and cultural enrichment. He took a kingdom and turned it into an empire, setting the stage for a golden age of Mali. His reign has begun, and with it, the golden age of Mali. Imagine taking a journey that literally changes the economic landscape of regions you pass through. This is the story of Mansa Musa's pilgrimage to Mecca in the 14th century, a journey that has become legendary in the annals of history. Mansa Musa, the ruler of the Mali Empire, embarked on his Hajj, a pilgrimage to the holy city of Mecca, in the year 1324. His entourage was a spectacle to behold. It's said that he traveled with an entourage of 60,000 men, all wearing brocade and Persian silk, and 80 camels, each carrying nearly 300 pounds of gold dust. Mansa Musa's pilgrimage wasn't just a religious journey, it was a grand display of his unimaginable wealth. As he journeyed through the Sahara and into the Middle East, Mansa Musa freely distributed gold to the poor, to rulers, and to establishments. He gave away so much gold that its value depreciated, leading to a decade-long gold inflation. Cities like Cairo, Medina, and Mecca, through which he passed, saw the value of gold plummet, causing a mild economic crisis. But Mansa Musa's generosity didn't stop at gold. He commissioned mosques and learning centers, fostering an environment of knowledge and culture. His actions left a lasting cultural and architectural footprint, making the Mali Empire a beacon of Islamic learning. Yet the economic effects of his pilgrimage were profound. The gold inflation disrupted the regional economy, but it also stimulated trade by drawing attention to the wealth and resources of the Mali Empire. In the long run, this expanded trade routes and opened up the West African region to the wider world. Mansa Musa's pilgrimage to Mecca was not just a religious obligation, but a powerful demonstration of wealth that had far-reaching economic implications. His journey was a testament to his immense wealth, influencing economies and societies along his route, and leaving a lasting legacy in the regions he touched. His journey was not just a pilgrimage, but a testament to his immense wealth. What does one do with such enormous wealth? As with many things in life, it's not just about the accumulation, but what you do with it that truly matters. And Mansa Musa, the wealthiest man in history, understood this to an art. Imagine, if you will, a king with coffers so full they could rival the sun in their shine, yet his greatest investments weren't in gold or jewels. No, Mansa Musa saw the value in something far more lasting: knowledge. He poured his wealth into building an empire of intellect and culture. Mansa Musa's Timbuktu was a beacon of enlightenment in an age where darkness often prevailed. He commissioned the construction of grand mosques and universities, turning the city into a global hub of education and religious discourse. The Sankore University, a testament to his vision, became one of the leading centers of learning in the Islamic world, attracting scholars and thinkers from far and wide. But his investments weren't confined to brick and mortar. He also heavily invested in the arts and education. His court became a haven for poets, artists, and scholars, fostering an environment of intellectual curiosity and creative expression. The impact of these investments was profound, and the ripples are felt to this day. Mansa Musa's reign set Mali, and indeed Africa as a whole, on a path of cultural and intellectual development. His legacy is not just in the gold he left behind, but in the thriving centers of learning, the magnificent architectural wonders, and the cultural richness that continues to define the region. Mansa Musa's wealth was more than just a collection of shiny objects. It was the spark that ignited a cultural and intellectual revolution. His legacy is a shining example of how wealth can be used to shape a society, to inspire generations, and to leave a lasting impact far beyond one's mortal existence. Mansa Musa's wealth wasn't just reflected in gold, but in the prosperity and cultural richness of his kingdom. His name may be synonymous with wealth, but his true legacy lies in the enlightened society he helped to build. Even the richest man in history couldn't escape the inevitable. As the sun began to set on the illustrious reign of Mansa Musa, so too did the golden age of the Mali Empire. In the twilight of his life, Mansa Musa continued his philanthropic efforts, erecting schools, mosques, and libraries, desperate to etch his legacy into the annals of time. But time, as it often does, had other plans. Mansa Musa's passing in the mid-14th century marked the beginning of the end for the Mali Empire. His successors, while wealthy in their own right, could not maintain the vast empire he had built. The gold, the power, the influence, it all began to slip away like sand through their fingers. The transient nature of wealth became painfully evident. It's almost poetic, isn't it? The richest man in the world, the man who had so much gold that he could disrupt an entire country's economy, couldn't stave off the inevitable decline. His empire, once larger than Western Europe, began to crumble. His wealth, once able to fund extravagant pilgrimages and monumental buildings, began to dwindle. The neighboring states, once held at bay by the might of Mali, began to encroach on its territory. Internal strife and succession disputes further weakened the empire. And within a century of Mansa Musa's death, the once mighty Mali Empire had all but faded into the annals of history. But let's not end on a somber note. Mansa Musa's story serves as a powerful lesson for us. It reminds us that wealth, in all its glitter and glamour, is fleeting. It's not the gold or the money that defines our legacy, but what we do with it. The schools, the mosques, the libraries, those are the things that endured, the things that truly mattered. Mansa Musa, the richest man in history, reminds us that wealth is not just about gold or money, but what we do with it that shapes our legacy.